Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at purposely.com. Welcome to From the Eyes of Wisdom, where we pair an experienced elder from Christa Senior Living with a passionate King's High School student ready to launch into the world. Here's Sherry Lynn.
Thank you for joining us on From the Eyes of Wisdom. I am Sherry Lynn, and in the studio with us today, we have Elisabeth and we have Alan. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Alan, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about your life and a little bit about your career. I know that's a broad brush to paint with. Let's start with your career.
Well, I started out as a junior high band director.
Okay.
And that went on for about 3 years, and I taught music at Simpson Bible College for a couple of years. And then in 1970, over 50 years ago, I joined staff of what used to be called Campus Crusade for Christ, but now is called Crew because we do so much more than just campus stuff. And so that's been over 50 years, and I'm still going at it.
Still working. Okay. What do you do now?
I'm, well, very similar to what I did at the beginning, which is working with students and visiting scholars from other countries, especially Asia, and who've come over here for an education or upgrading their credentials.
Okay.
And basically helping to introduce them to Jesus that they may maybe not have encountered back in cultures that don't really encourage that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we feel like they're, if they came to understand and know Him in a personal way, that they could be much more effective than somebody like me who doesn't know the language and culture and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you tell me over the decades how that work has changed, how communicating the gospel has changed, how, culturally, how has it changed?
Well, it's the culture, especially in China, it's changed quite a bit, actually. When we went over to China for about 15 years.
Okay.
And
wow.
When we got there, they were just really on the.
I'm sorry, you lived there for 15 years.
Yes,
okay.
That's right.
Okay.
And when we first got there, they were just kind of emerging as part of the world community, and it kind of coming out of a sort of a Dark Ages setting. We were among the first Westerners who got there, so we went over, my wife and I, with 4 kids.
Wow.
And
ages? What were the ages of your kids?
They ranged from we had 2 generations. We had the oldest was 15.
Okay.
And then we had a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Wow.
And then we were surprised at the end to take a 3-month-old in with us.
Oh my goodness!
And
okay.
he grew up in China actually, and so when he came back, he was more comfortable with Chinese people than he was with Americans.
Right.
So we were, we'd go shopping in the city where we were living, and we'd be looking at some of the products on display, and then we look up around, and here was about 100 people gathered around us, looking at us.
Yeah.
And so we were such an oddity there.
Anomaly, yeah.
That was 1985.
Okay.
And now, today, the economy of China has changed radically for the better, and so they're almost caught up with the rest of the modern world.
So in reaching people there, has the method or the way that you communicate the gospel changed, seeing as how that growing an economy, growing an influence is the way that you talk about the gospel? Has that changed in any way, or?
It has. One of the big ways recently that it's changed is a result of COVID, because we would have people come over as working on graduate degrees and or coming over as visiting scholars, and they'd go back and we'd say, have a nice life. And but now with COVID, everybody learned to use Zoom. And so they go back now, and we talk to them, continue the relationship.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it is amazing, and it's not always easy. That's a hard thing for us as Americans to take the risk
Yeah.
of sharing our faith.
Yeah.
And it's even more of a risk back there because it could have economic consequences. You could either lose your job or downgrade or what. There are reasons not to open your mouth. So one thing we can do is help them to do that. When I go online on Zoom, I can go as a English as a second language teacher, and they can invite their friends to come and improve their English with me, and it doesn't seem so dangerous that way. Yeah. So that's another way that I can reach out in China.
I have friends who are missionaries in China that we support. That it just is. There are consequences. There can be consequences, and have known things that they have gone through. To be there, and what happens in those communities, and the hunger for the gospel.
That's right. That's right.
The desire for the gospel. When you're here, it's so common. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? That you don't understand sometimes.
We're kind of. Someone told me recently that we're kind of gospel hardened over here. Yeah. And over there, they're gospel deprived.
Yes.
And so they come here and they really want to know. And they're really in. We have I'm working with a group right across the street from the university, a church group that we have 100 people come over every Friday night for a dinner and be part of clubs with, we call them small group clubs with a lot of them with Christian content. And they're very enthused and excited about it.
Elisabeth, tell me a little bit about what you want to do. You're a junior?
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what you're thinking you might want to do whenever you graduate. Do you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of ideas. I'm not sure exactly yet. I need to pray about it more. But I definitely want to do something with music, whether that's like worship ministry or teaching music or choir. That's something I could definitely see myself taking a career in.
Okay,
in the
so you love music. What
yes.
I remember piano, I think.
Yes, I have to take piano lessons, voice lessons, and I'm part of worship teams. So yeah.
Okay, so a love for music, which, Alan, you had a career in music there early on.
I did.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I have a granddaughter who is a student at King's.
Oh, my goodness.
And she's in 7th grade.
Okay.
But she also loves music.
Yeah.
And she performs and sings solos and all kinds of other things with music.
What would you say about a career in music? Well, teaching. What would you say about perhaps pursuing something like that?
Well, I would say I liked it, and I had a good. I loved my college years, and I had a lot of friends that go back that far. But when I graduated and went into teaching, I found that I was well prepared musically, but not so well prepared with the relational aspect of dealing with kids and what classroom control and all that kind of stuff.
Kids was getting on your nerves?
Well, I kind of, my first 3 years in junior high school, I thought, hey, there's got to be somebody more serious about music than this. Yeah. So that's what got me up to the college level. But I think that was I think I do fine now, but I just, I wasn't I kind of was caught unaware of what I might encounter in the classroom.
That makes sense. Yeah. What do you think about that, Elisabeth?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. That transition would be really hard from going to college, learning about music, but then also changing. So you're the one teaching it. And
I looked a lot like the students. They were trying to figure out if I was really the teacher or
if I was. Do you have the
was
authority to tell us to be quiet?
That was it. I think I looked a little bit too much like one of the students. And
okay.
So, anyway.
Now, tell me about your faith in college. Were you a Christian in college?
Yes, I was. I look at my Christian history as kind of in a couple of stages. As a 10-year-old, that was one of my first memories of church.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but anyway, a Sunday school teacher brought in a book with a story about a young boy who fell down, scraped his knee. Very, that was a very common thing, and usually in a couple of weeks those things heal up. But in his case, it didn't. It went the other way, and it turned into a very, very terrible infection in his knee that turned to gangrene. The doctor was called in, and he thought he might have to amputate, and his older brother said, "You can't take off my brother's leg." He says, "Well, I don't want to, but he could die. So I'll check back tomorrow. We'll see what things are looking like. But unless we see some major change, we're going to have to go that direction." So the family prayed. The next day he came back. He said, "This is strange." He says, "This looks better," and so they continued to pray. He continued to check in, and he eventually just recovered. And so, but the exciting part of the story was he grew up to be president of the United States, the boy, and it was the one who was president at that time, Dwight Eisenhower.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, God could answer the prayers of a president. And so a couple of years later, when I was invited to be baptized, I accepted and continued to stay with the Lord throughout school, my school career. But then I came back shortly before graduating, and one of my one of my friends from high school and his father both came to Christ. And the father was being discipled by the pastor. And he said, "Here, sit down. Let me tell you what I'm learning." So he shared a number of verses, but one of them that got my attention was Romans 3:23. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And so he said, "Alan, has there been a time in your life when you thank God for sending Jesus to die for your sins?" And I was too embarrassed to say, "No, I thought I was one of the good guys."
Yeah.
but
Right.
as soon as I got home, I was on my knees and doing just that.
Okay.
And right away, I became kind of an evangelist, looking for ways to tell this good news to other people. Because how could I sit in church for 10 years and not know that, miss that message?
Yeah. And that was going into college then.
That was that was almost the time of graduation from college.
From
so I was
college,
I was kind of a new
Wow.
Christian as a teacher, a music teacher.
Okay, all right. So, Elisabeth, what would you say about your faith right now? And as a junior and you're thinking about going into college, would you consider your faith strong? Do you feel like I'm going into college strong? Or are you going into college wanting to go to a Christian college? Because there've been juniors and seniors saying, "Hey, I want to go to a Christian college to continue and make sure I stay in the Christian faith." What would you say?
Yeah, I for sure, Christian college is definitely something I want to go to. I think it's so important to surround yourself with an environment where you're encouraged to draw close to God, because, that's like the best environment you can be in, right? Yeah. And like even being here at King's, I just notice a difference just being surrounded by people who love Jesus, having teachers who pray. It's so encouraging. And just to in my first block class, I have English, and every day we start off with prayer, and it's just such an amazing way to start off my day, and it just makes me so grateful. And I think that's just something I definitely want to be carried into college, because my faith is something that's really important to me.
That would be a stark contrast if you were going to a Christian high school and starting off with prayer and having a strong faith component in your high school. If you went to a college that wasn't a Christian college and then none of that was there, that would that would be very different.
So your parents are Christians too?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I was raised in a Christian home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your biggest fear overall in life?
Oh, that's a good question. My biggest fear is probably, I need to think about this. Good question. I would say my biggest fear is shutting out God's voice and what He has for my life, and paying attention to what I want and and what my desires are, and focusing more on my needs and my wants over what the Lord has in store for me. Because I think if you give anything else authority in your life besides Jesus, I don't know what good can come from that. No good could come from that, because all good things come from Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And so I think my biggest fear would be to just shut the Lord out. That is something that I would never want to do.
So are you saying, when you say shutting God out, so I'm understanding, are you saying like a backslidden thing, like, by God, or missing God's will? Like, I was supposed to do this, but I ended up doing that.
Yeah, probably
Missing God's will.
Yeah, I mean, both for sure. Totally. Big fear would be to draw away from
the
God.
chandeliers. Or okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Alan. In the 15 years that you were, did you say 15? Was it 15 years you were in China?
Yeah,
okay.
About that.
Yeah, with your family. I'm guessing there were situations that had to be tough, like things that were going on. Was there ever a time where you're like, God, this is tough, man? Did you ever question God? Am I supposed to be here, or are they supposed to be with us? Is this were there ever any obstacles that felt kind of insurmountable, or was there anything where you praying to God like, okay, now, hello? I mean, 15 years in China, there had to be some stuff that felt.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always challenges living in a new culture, just as there are challenges even living here. But one of our challenges was my wife started volunteering at an orphanage, and this was an orphanage for kids with physical handicaps, physical problems, and she's a nurse. Yeah. So she would. There was a little boy that came in, and after about 2 months in the orphanage, he started losing weight. In fact, over the 2 months, he started losing weight. They would give him a bottle of milk, and after half an hour later, everything would come back up again. And so he was maybe 4 months old, weighed less than 6 pounds at 4 months. I mean, that's a normal birth. So he was on the way out, and so she asked if she could bring him out, have him checked out at a hospital, and she did. And basically he had a milk allergy, and so we were able to locate a company that could provide soy milk, and we gave him soy milk, and he perked up right away. He started gaining weight, and so one thing led to another. We along the line, a girl came in to the picture, similar situation. We decided, hey, we didn't want to send these kids back to the orphanage, and so we ended up adopting 2 more kids.
Wow.
And we were over the age of adoption. I mean, this was like, we were over 45, I think, at that time, which was usually the cutoff point. And you usually couldn't adopt 2 kids at the same time. And but we got permission to do it. And anyway, that was, that's something we would never have thought of. We had 4 kids. We weren't looking for more kids. But I always tell people it's a dangerous place to send your wife if you're not looking for an orphanage, because she kept bringing home free samples. So
wow.
Anyway, once they get over your door, the door inside the door, it's all over.
Oh my gosh. My next question was, tell me a time God has surprised you, but I think we got it.
That was it. We got it. All right.
That's a twofer. Yeah. Elizabeth, what do you think about that?
Oh, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. What was like the age difference between the 2 kids you adopted and then the 4?
Well, that's a good question, because that's our 3rd generation. I told you we had, between number 3 and number 4 was 11 years. Between number 4 and number 5, 13 years. Wow. So now we've got our oldest son is probably 54, and he'll be 55 next month, or actually this month. It's April, and then the youngest is 30. No, No, 27.
Wow. You do. That spans several generations there.
Yeah.
My goodness. Elisabeth, what do you think is valuable right now? What do you overall, what's valuable?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question too. Probably family. Family is really valuable. I'd say like community, like church is really valuable. Like to me, these are the things that are valuable to me.
Yes, yeah.
Church, my relationship with the Lord, and something really valuable. I think should be the most valued thing in life.
Okay.
So I would say those three things are probably the most valuable to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ellen, what I would ask you what's valuable. I'm going to ask you a different question. How valuable was planning to you at around Elisabeth's age? So 17, 18, 19 plans. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. There seems to be a lot of pressure on their generation right now to have it all mapped out, right? Like every single part of your life mapped out. And I feel actually sad because it feels like it takes the joy of every moment, just moments out. The previous interviewee in here, Ellen, who lives at Krista, said something so sweet to the girl that was sitting there. She said, well, look outside and see what God's painting for you. Like that, you know what I mean? Well, how do you do that when someone's telling you, where are you going to school? Did you get your scholarship? Who are you going to meet? And that's what they have.
Sure.
And I'm wondering if was that something that was in when you were that age? And if it were, was that valuable or not?
Well, I wanted to ask Elisabeth, how do you see that being in your own life? Because I want to compare.
Yeah, I think especially now I'm a junior and I just took my SAT and I feel like everyone's asking me about colleges, what I want to do, and I'm still not entirely sure what I want to do. So it feels like I kind of need to have everything figured out already and figuring out how to save money so that I can go to college. I think it's something that's just like, I almost get asked like almost every day what I want to do in the future, and I think it's just something that
you feel anxiety when you don't have the you feel anxiety when you don't have the answer.
I have to know it right now, but not entirely sure. So yeah.
Well, I think that's probably similar to what I faced at that time too. There comes a decision time where you gotta, okay, what am I going to do once I get out of this high school? And I remember being asked that. Well, I could do this, I could do that, one of my favorite teachers was my band director, and my friends and I used to go over even after high school, during high school days, to visit the band director at the junior high school after school. So that's the way I kind of made the decision to go that direction with my education. As it turned out, I worked in that field generally for 5 years, but that question that I heard from my friend's father stuck with me and sort of became the guiding force in my life, even as a teacher, and when the opportunity came along to put it into a career format, it looked much clearer that way.
Hey, that's great. That's amazing. I didn't even put that together. That question ended up being sort of the beacon,
right? And I think we don't always know. When we're high school graduation age, there's kind of a shot in the dark, and sometimes but things tend to clear up once you get into the workforce. Once you begin to see how things are going, I found that it became a lot clearer to me the way that I wanted to go, and that God was leading.
Any questions on that?
No, I really like that. How I think it's so true. Like God will just open up doors too. Like it may be confusing in the moment, but like you just have to know and pray that He will open the doors and He will make the path clear, which is just so awesome.
Do you regret those years as as teacher, that 5 years that you spent teaching?
No, I don't. Although I would have to say that it was hard.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me think, this is probably not exactly what I should be doing. But having stuck with this other pathway for 50 years, and I could retire. I just hit my 80th birthday last June.
Wow.
But hey, I think it was Confucius that said, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah. That's how I live. Absolutely. You know what? I think everything that you said actually answers your previous thoughts about fear, because 5 years junior high teacher, and now 50 years in Campus Crusade, right?
Yeah.
Is one missing God? Is one not missing God? I think what the beauty of it is that he says, "Lo, I'm with you always," right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So you have this, and then you have that, and God, I don't know God to be like, "Oh, you chose band. Good luck, chump." You know what I mean? I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I wanted you to do Campus Crusade. Goodbye. Like it's like, okay, he's with you. That's his promise.
There you go.
He's with you. He's with you.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, college over here. Don't like that. All right, maybe we're going over here now. Lo, I am with you, right? And so I think that's the beauty of it, is to spend those years, and who knows, if those little kids didn't get on your nerves, maybe maybe it would have been longer in that, right?
Maybe.
But it was like, okay, enough of that. And now you're over, and you're doing this amazing work for 50 years, right?
But another thing though, if they didn't get on my nerves, or if things had worked out in a different way, and I really liked this career, that's okay too. There's nothing magic about Campus Crusade.
Yeah.
It's just that you need to be where God wants you, and it's something that's really capitalizing on your strengths and your interests, and where God's directing. Jesus gave us this great commission to take the good news to the whole world, and you don't have to go to the end of the earth, although some people may be directed to do that. But all I need to do is share the good news with people around me, and if they do the same thing, if I teach them, encourage them to do the same thing, well, that's what Jesus did with those 12 guys, and they were fishermen. They were just, but there was something about Jesus that they liked, and anyway, it all worked out, and here we are with most of the world, well, at least about 2/3 of the world has had the opportunity.
The gospel.
But China, India, the Middle East, those are the three big areas that where probably most people may not have a Christian friend to give them that good news.
Yeah. What's the best part of being this age?
Well, the best part of it, I guess, grandkids. Somebody said grandkids are God's reward for not killing your kids.
That's good. God said, "Here, you made it."
Good job.
But
that's very good.
Anyhow, I mean that's if I weren't, I'm still not sure exactly if there's going to be a time when I'll officially retire. Maybe there will be, and I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
But I do need to make that a priority of building those relationships with that my kids and my grandkids will think positively about one, that in their memories of their relationship with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that you're doing that now?
I think so. I think my wife and I have good relationships with all of our kids, all of our grandkids, and but we just need to, I think, make the day-to-day connections a little more consistently, and I'd like to be able to say that my grandkids knew who I was, and because as I look at my own grandparents, I wish I had known them more and in a closer way and gotten wisdom from them more. But I did get a lot, but not as much as I'd like.
Yeah. Elizabeth, any other questions?
I'm going to go back to when you're talking about how you taught for 5 years. What are some things that you learned from teaching and being in a very different environment and then going to be a missionary? What are some things that maybe you learned teaching that you carried with you to China, if there's anything?
Well, I think being a music teacher especially helped even in my China experience, because I remember in one of my classes over there, I was teaching English in China, and I was trying to teach them a song. And they said, well, can you put up the numbers on the board? And I knew what they were talking about because, if you've seen Sound of Music, Do, Re, Mi, and I learned that was one of the first classes I had in music school, is learning what they call sight singing. So they hand you a piece of music and you have to sing it, even if you don't even know what it is. But if you know that technique, so I was able to write up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, right? So I was able to do that, and they sang it, and they thought, oh, now we got it, yeah. So that was something that was a carryover from my music days that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Sounds like you've had a wonderful adventure with Jesus.
That's true.
Yeah, one of the other people who came in here said that I'm going to start using. He said, it's the adventure with Jesus is not necessarily easy, but it is authentic. And I loved that. That the adventure that the world offers you, he said, is it's not authentic. It's a counterfeit. But the adventure with Jesus is authentic.
That's true.
And every person who has sat in that seat has been able to say that. Alan, can I ask you, do you fear death?
No, I don't. But well, yeah, I'm not sure how I would. I want to be sure. I'd like to be able to leave the world with without a lot of loose ends dangling, and that's one of my. Maybe that's a good message from the Lord, that maybe there could be a time just to be out from under deadlines that are always a part of our work. There's whether it's teaching or any other kind of work, there's times when things are done, and sometimes those deadlines interfere with personal priorities that nobody's going to ask me for a deadline to get my finances in order, or my relationships with all of my kids and where I'd like. So that's something that that's a constant concern of mine, is that I'm wanting to be sure I'm using my time in the way that God wants.
Yeah.
That's a good wisdom.
Yeah.
For Elisabeth to hear now, because now's a good time to start that.
Yeah.
You never, death seems like almost unreal. I mean, even at my age, we don't realize that the life is short. As we look at each day, we look at it. I like to look at it as a gift that it might not come again.
Yeah, because even when I ask that question, I ask it because I think as you get older, I think it just naturally becomes more of a thought, just because, your physical body starts telling you, hey.
Yeah.
However, even as a young person, it's like you said, there's no guarantees, and none of us know. And I think it's healthy to think about it as a young person, to know we are finite beings and God has our years numbered, right? And to always be thinking about that, and to be taking every day if I'm hearing you correctly, and living in the moment.
That's right.
That's good.
Reminds
All right.
me.
I'm going to give you a card here. Elizabeth, take that card. We do this with every person. I am going to ask you, Alan, to give Elizabeth one golden nugget of wisdom. She's going to write it down on that card, and she's going to carry that card with her throughout life. She's going to take it to her wedding. She's going to take it to her kids' graduation. She's going to take it to wherever she goes. And remember that she sat here with Alan on this day, and he told her this wonderful revelation, this wonderful nugget, and it's going to help guide her life. No pressure. All right? So she's going to write it down, and then when she writes it down, she's going to date it, and then you're going to sign it for her. So what do you think she needs to know? This wonderful word of wisdom, wonderful, whatever you want to give her that she needs to know. Remember this in life. Remember this.
You know, I think living your life as if you had, you can pick out if this was your last week on earth, what would you want to do? Or if it was your last day on earth or your last month on earth. There's some things I think you may have goals that can't be accomplished in one day or 1 week or 1 month, but it helps to, I think of life as not as long as we think it might be on this earth, but it will be a long time afterwards.
Yeah. Very, very good. That keeps us from getting all puffed up with pride of thinking we're so important, so great, when you're right. We don't know how long it is, right? That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Let Alan sign that for you. And while they're doing that, I will say thank you again, everyone who is listening. We always appreciate you joining us on From the Eyes of Wisdom.